welcome back to A Hill with a View. It has been quite the hiatus. I think it's been around 3 weeks since I last recorded. You had the Passover break, but it's great to be back here. And I'm really just reminding everyone, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. And we're going to be changing things up a little bit on here on A Hill with a View. Before we were, doing some more national news and, reacting to the crazies, especially on the right media sphere, the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens and stuff like that. We're not going to do that anymore. That content, unless it happens to intersect with the content that I'm working on, that content you can get in a lot of places. Let's focus more on this new thing that I want to work on a lot. I want to spend a lot of time with it, which is the state of New York. I live in the state of New York. I'm running again in the state of New York, and I ran last year for Nassau County Legislature. I'm running again this year for Nassau County Legislature. Very excited to do it. I had a good campaign event tonight that I went to. Lots of fun. Happy to get back into it. And what I'm really focusing on, though, is making sure that we break up the one-party rule that we have had in New York since 2019. The Democrats have controlled the Assembly, the Senate, and the governor's mansion since 2019, and they have just decimated this state in the last 7 years. So we need to vote for Bruce Blakeman for governor, okay? That's why I'm wearing this shirt. We got to really get it out. We got to make sure to do something about this. We really have to get Kathy Hochul out of office. We got to put handcuffs on Zohar Mamdani, political handcuffs, obviously. Making sure that he is not going to get funding from Albany for all of his socialist projects that he wants to do. Kathy Hochul just gave Zohar Mamdani $1.5 billion. And he's spending $30 million on a grocery store that we know is going to go overrun. He's spending that much money on a grocery store, one of 5 that he wants to make. And I saw a projection that for the price tag that Mamdani is proposing for his 5 grocery stores, Aldi's can build like 45 grocery stores. It's kind of insane. So taxpayer subsidized, taxpayer paid. This is what's going on right now. So we got to make sure to break up this monopoly. We could do it with the governor. We could do it with the state senate. We got to elect great state senate candidates. We got to elect a great governor in Bruce Blakeman. We got to do that this year. So that is what my focus is going to be on going forward. I'm going to be focusing on New York politics. I'm going to be focusing on I'm going to bring on guests, people who work in New York media. I'm going to bring on people who are running for local seats, state seats, federal seats. It's going to be amazing. We got a great candidate in my district in CD4, Janine Driscoll. She was our receiver of taxes in the town of Hempstead. She's going to do a great job. I saw her tonight. She's raring to go. She's very excited. So I'm looking forward to campaigning with her, going on the trail with her. In my district, District 6 of the State Senate, we got another great guy, Matt Kapp. He's going to be running. Saw him tonight. He's raring to go. We got great candidates up and down this ballot. So I need everybody to come out and vote in November. But this is not something we can start working on after Labor Day. It's a 365-day campaign cycle now. Literally, the second the last campaign ends, the next one starts. I'm doing this in April. I should have been doing this in January. When I was doing this podcast, I got to do as much as I can to make sure that New York State has some semblance of normality going forward. So we are going to focus all on that. And that's what I want to make more on the forefront of this show, A Hill with a View. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight is this ranking I saw from the Tax Foundation. Tax Foundation put out their overall rankings, State Competitive Index, which compares each state on more than 150 variables in the 5 major areas of taxation: corporate taxes, individual income taxes, sales and excise taxes, property and wealth taxes, and unemployment insurance taxes. And then I'm reading this from their website, and then adds the results to yield a final overall ranking. This approach rewards states on particularly strong aspects of their tax system or penalizes them on particularly weak aspects while measuring the general competitiveness of their overall tax systems. The result is a score that can be compared to other states' scores. Now, I don't even need to tell anyone who's listening to this can already guess where I'm going with this right now, okay? Yeah, New York, it's going to be low. It's going to be low. It's going to be low. Guess what? It's lower than you thought. It is dead last. New York is dead last in this scale. Overall, New York, number 50. It is the lowest you could possibly get. The worst state in the country for taxes. I will repeat that, because if this ever gets heard by any Democrat who is hearing the sound of my voice, New York, regarding taxes, is the worst state in the country. After New Jersey, after California, after DC, after Connecticut, after everything. Okay? So, top 5 states: Wyoming, South Dakota, New Hampshire, Alaska, Florida. With the exception of New Hampshire, which votes red locally, but Republican, but Democrat for federal elections. So I would say that's kind of like a purplish state. Those are all red states, deep red states. Especially Florida, by the way. Florida, I just came back from Florida. I was there for 2 weeks. People are just happier there, man. It is incredible over in Florida. They know what they're doing. So what we are going to do is we are going to look over at these New York rankings, okay? So New York State Competitive Index, number 50 overall. So overall ranked 50. Ranked change 0, which means that's where they were last year. Corporate taxes, they're 28. So let me tell you something. For all the socialists out there, for all the democratic socialists who want to continue on this trajectory and think that corporations are completely evil, your state that you love so much is ranked middle of the road in corporate taxes. Number 28. What's number 50? Let's take a look. Number 50 is Delaware, which makes really no sense because Delaware, I guess they've decided to destroy the one thing they had going for them. Oregon, Tennessee, Washington State, Texas, Ohio. I mean, some of these are surprising, I'm going to be honest with you. Texas ranks 7 overall, 46th in corporate tax rank, number 1 in individual tax rank. So I guess it adds you up to number 7. But I'm going to focus on New York. I could get really down a rabbit hole with this thing. This is a fascinating study they did. So New York ranks last on the index with high rates and a burdensome and highly non-neutral tax structure. So we got corporate taxes ranked 28, individual income taxes 50, sales taxes 42, property taxes 47th, unemployment insurance taxes 38. Okay? Now, the funniest thing about this is that New York Republicans for years, Anthony D'Esposito, known personally when he was in Congress, we had Mike Lawler, Lolita, all the members of Congress, Stefanik, I'm trying to remember everyone else, Malliotakis. They have everyone in the New York delegation to Congress was pushing Trump and the Republicans to reinstate the SALT deduction, the state and local tax deduction, which was taken out of Trump's 2017 tax bill. Republicans took it out because, logically, conservative like myself should say the federal government should not be subsidizing blue states taxing their citizens to death. Taxing New Yorkers, Californians, New Jerseyans, they should not be subsidized by the federal government for their demand to tax everyone to out of existence. But the Republicans in Congress from these states, which there are a few of them, pushed hard to put the state and local tax deduction back in. And they did. And for the first time in a long time, I'm seeing rebates. People are talking about the rebates they're getting in New York because when they did the big beautiful bill, the state and local tax deductions were back in. And guess who voted against it? All the Democrats. So the Democrats voted for high state and local taxes and then voted against federal government having a state and local tax deduction. So they just want to tax you into oblivion. So Laura Gillen voted against it. Tom Suozzi voted against it. Those are the people on Long Island. That's a red county. Nassau County, where I live, red county with 2 Democrats in Congress, and they have both got to go. They have got to go. So New York is the worst overall in competitiveness, okay? They have shown that they do not care about this. This is not an issue that the government of New York State cares about. The Assembly, the State Senate, and the governor does not care about this issue of high taxes. In fact, Kathy Hochul went viral a couple weeks ago because she was begging billionaires or millionaires to come back from Florida to pay for the social programs. She had no comment about how they have to cut spending or how they have to make it attractive to come back by lowering taxes or anything like that. No comment about that. Just you have to come back to be generous, to be quote unquote generous. It's not generous. Stealing other people's money and spending it on your own social programs that you put together that are filled with fraud that people are stealing from and really destroying your state is not generous. Okay, so it says that, so I'm going back to this website, the Tax Foundation website. New York has a high top individual income tax rate of 10.9% and is only one of 2 states with a tax benefit recapture provision where the benefit of lower rates is phased out and a taxpayer's top rate is ultimately applied to all income, not just marginal income above a certain level. So to state that plainly, it used to be most other states do like, oh, for the first $50,000 you pay X, then the next $50,000 when you get to $50,001 to $100,000 you pay a little bit more, yada yada yada, going all the way up. They say if you get to a certain level, if you're making a certain amount of money, then your entire rate is the highest level, not just progressively. In addition, some jurisdictions collect local income taxes, including New York City, which impose a progressive income tax with a top rate of 3.876%. So that's on top of everything else. New York also has a graduated corporate income tax with rates ranging from 6.5% to 7.25%. That's on top of federal income tax, federal corporate income tax. The state maintains a capital stock base within its corporate income tax, which was scheduled to phase out but has yet to be eliminated. While the state sales tax rate is reasonable at 4%, the average combined state and local sales tax rate is much higher at 8.5%. Yeah, when I read that, I was like, 4%? I don't pay 4% in sales tax. I pay 8.65, I think. And the base is especially narrow with both groceries and clothing exempt. New York is an outlier and imposing a convenience of the employer rule on taxpayers, requiring non-resident individuals to pay New York income taxes if they are employed by a business located in the state, even if they have minimal contacts with New York otherwise. So basically, you live out of state, you work remote, you're paying taxes. This creates double taxation for remote employees of firms headquartered in New York unless an allowance is provided by another state. This also adds to compliance costs for tax filers. They're taxing you every which way. Additionally, New York does not conform to the federal government's bonus depreciation allowance under Section 168K, discouraging investment. While levy limits have constrained the continued growth of property taxes, effective rates remain high, and a disproportionate split roll system shifts property tax costs to businesses and renters. New York also has both an estate tax and a real estate transfer tax. New York does, however, do better than some of its regional rivals in largely accepting global, intangible, low taxed income from its corporate tax base. So what's this saying? It is saying that New York sucks. It is way too highly taxed. By the way, one of the first things Zoran Mamdani wanted to do, raise the property taxes an additional 9% in New York City. 9% additional in New York City. Absolutely insane. This is the what's it called? Neighboring states tax policy. I could go through all this, but I just wanted to move on a little bit to how this policy is causing massive New York population loss. So there is a growing number of blue state are proposing wealth and exit taxes. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But New York population loss is why they are now proposing exit taxes, because people are leaving New York. So this is from Empire Center. They are saying that it is still recovering. This is back from December of 2025. They are claiming that it's still recovering from COVID-19. They're blaming the COVID-19, saying people are leaving because of COVID-19. It's not because of COVID-19. It's because people are being taxed to death. They're not getting a return on their investment in the state, and they are sick of it. They can work remote. Their companies are moving out of New York. People are leaving in droves. So especially over the same period, the Mid-Hudson region and Long Island saw a modest growth of 1%, likely due to city's residents relocating in the suburbs. So it's basically saying that New York City has left. Some people have moved to the suburbs, like Nassau County. Hopefully they do not bring their politics with them to Nassau County, because we like our Republicans in Nassau County. Bruce Blakeman, our county executive, was reelected last year where everyone else in 2025, all around the country, Democrats were winning. Bruce Blakeman, Republican, won in Nassau County. The state as a whole was down by 238,000 residents, or 1.2% over a 4-year stretch, even as the U.S. population rose by 2.6%. Overall, New York lost more populations in the first 4 years of this decade than any other state except West Virginia. And the reason why, and I had to look it up, West Virginia is losing population because they have a very old population, which is dying off, and their coal industry has been basically decimated, and people need work. So it's not like that here. People are leaving here because they're being taxed, not because they don't have the jobs. So these trends point to the need for a new direction in state and city policy, one that prioritizes affordability and economic opportunity while avoiding the excessive taxes and regulations that make it hard to live and do business in New York. That is not me talking. That is Empire Center talking, and they are completely right. The Census Bureau tracks 4 components of population change: births, deaths, international migration, and domestic migration from one state to another. It refers to the net total of birth and deaths as a natural change, and the net total of international and domestic migration as net migration. As seen in the table below, a major driver of New York's population trends have been domestic outmigration. People are not dying, they are leaving. They are not going to other countries, they're going to other states. The number of residents moving away from the state exceeded the number moving in by almost 900,000 over the 4 years. That included net loss of about 300,000 each in 21-22, the 2 largest annual figures since the 1970s. That is also when Kathy Hochul became governor, and that has not changed. She has not done anything to change this at all. So it started before her. It started during Andrew Cuomo, who I could do a whole other thing on Andrew Cuomo, who destroyed the state and then went on and destroyed New York City because he had a quixotic campaign that he thought he didn't actually have to campaign, and now we're stuck with Zohran Mamdani. So this is in the hundreds of thousands. Domestic migration, it is minus 300,000 in 2021, minus 296 in 2022, minus 177 in 2023, and minus 121 in 2024. So people are leaving. People are leaving as fast as they can. So this has been going on, and now they are trying to do wealth taxes. Growing number from Common News. Growing number of blue states proposing wealth and exit taxes. And who's the front page of this? Big Kathy Hochul. She even outshines Gavin Newsom on this one. Really incredible. And I'm a little surprised, to be honest with that. Across the country, at least 10 states are now exploring or have already passed an exit or wealth tax in order to combat revenues losses from residents fleeing to lower tax areas. This includes California, New York, Washington, and Michigan. What do all those have in common? Blue states. All blue states. So that is what's going on right now. Jamie Dimon, there's a quote from Jamie Dimon. The truth is that while New York City has much going for it, particularly for financial companies because of extraordinary local talent, also has the highest city and state corporate taxes and the highest individual income and state taxes, Jamie Dimon says, JP Morgan Chase CEO. Meanwhile, New York's Governor Kathy Hochul acknowledges the state's tax base has been heavily impacted by an exodus to low-tax states, urging wealthier residents to come back. She said, and this is what I was talking about before, maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home because our tax base has been eroded. Are they going to do anything about it? Absolutely not. They do not care to make these changes. They do not care to lower the taxes here to bring in new talent. The only thing they would, in theory, do is give specific corporate incentives to move here, like what they tried to do with Amazon years ago, except for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got rid of that one. There should have been an Amazon headquarters in New York City. AOC didn't like that, so there goes 10,000 jobs and a massive amount of corporate taxes. And they were going to give, even with all the subsidies they were going to give to Amazon, it was still going to be money for New York State. But that's what they're going to do. They're not going to lower the tax rate on everybody. They're not going to lower it on individuals. They're going to pick and choose large corporations that they can entice to come here with, so they can have a lower tax rate. These chosen few corporations, and then they're going to wave the banner and say what an amazing state New York is for businesses when it's not. It is not an amazing state for businesses. It is not an amazing state for individuals, and it is really getting tiresome. We need to do something about this. So, once again, Bruce Blakeman for governor. We got to vote him in. We got to do this right now. This is 2026, man. Like, we don't have too many chances left. I mean, I thought one of our last chances to fix the state was in 2022 with Lee Zeldin. I worked hard to get Lee Zeldin in. He came up short. Now he's the head of the EPA. He's doing a great job. In fact, they broke ground on a pipeline to get natural gas to downstate New Yorkers, like people in Long Island, against the wishes. The federal government did this. Lee Zeldin did this against the wishes of New York Democrats, by the way. So they're going around the system to help out New Yorkers, even though the Democrats don't want the help. But we do need the help, and we do need Bruce Blakeman in. We need to elect Republicans up and down the ballot. So I'm hoping that this message starts to spread out wide. We need all the help we can get. That's going to be it for me tonight. We're going to continue with this type of show where we're going to be talking about New York State issues. We're going to try to get Republicans elected in New York State. That is the goal. That's what we got to do. So please, if you don't know who is running in your local area, please feel free to comment. It's easy to look up. I'm willing to help out any way I can. Upstate, downstate, Long Island, Westchester, the Monroe area, the Capital Region, everywhere, West New York. We got to do this in New York State. Otherwise, we got to get out of here. I mean, there's really nothing else we can do. It's kind of insane. We got to fix this. All right, that's going to be it for me. My name is Moshe Hill. This has been A Hill with a View. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share.